Well, think
It's game on for Rainbow Warrior Basketball, presented by OC Sports Enhance. Enhance your viewing experience with true interactive television on digital channels 13 and 1013 and only on Oceanic Time Warner Cable. And aloha, everybody. Welcome inside the Stan Sheriff Center. Game 2 of the new conference for the Warriors. Cal State Fullerton coming in here running. And boy, will they run against the Hawaii Warriors as you look at one of Hawaii's bigs, Vander Joaquin. They're going to have their hands full tonight, not with other big guys on the opposing team. They don't have any other big guys. The biggest Cal State Fullerton player is 6'7", but boy, will they swarm you. Howard Deshevsky along with Johnny White, Bill Indus. Happy New Year to you guys. Happy New Year to you guys at home. Well, when last we met, Hawaii eked out that victory over Cal State Northridge. It's going to be another very interesting challenge for the team in white tonight.
It's going to be a big challenge for the team. This team comes in here in Fullerton with 3 great guards, potential all Big West performers. So look for Hawaii to do what they do best, get it into their big guys and take it to them on the inside in the paint.
Yeah, Fullerton's a hot team right now. They've won their last 4 games, and all their losses have all been really close. They've all been within 4 points, except for 1 loss. So they're 7-5, identical records to Hawaii as well. So I look for it to be a pretty good game.
Coming off an 86-79 win against the Gauchos at the University of California at Santa Barbara. By the way, they happen to be 3rd in the country in scoring, averaging 83.8 points per game. So this is a team that could come out, they can bring it, and as I said, they're small, they're fast. Hawaii, well, they ran up against a pretty hot team last weekend on Saturday night here at the Stan Sheriff Center as they opened play in their new conference, in the Big West Conference. They came up against Cal State Northridge. They too were hot. Hawaii, maybe not so hot, at least from the free throw line. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But in the end, Hawaii pulled out the victory against the Matadors.
Northridge is playing really, really good basketball. And they were the hottest team in the conference with the best preseason record. And I really like how we played. I like how we pulled that one out. We were up 11 at halftime, and I knew they were going to make a run. They were down 21 against Utah on the road and came back and beat them. Outscored them by like 28 points in the second half. So we knew it was coming, and it did, and we sustained it, and were able to make some really big plays down the end and give all our guys confidence. So definitely, it was a tough game. It was a good game. I'm glad we got the win.
Norwich was they were the hot team coming in, and we knocked them off, and it makes us feel pretty confident.
I think we can win the Big West Championship. Honestly, like, all we gotta do is play as a team, do what coaches are asking us, execute. And once we do that, I feel like the other teams will have a hard time guarding us, because then we'll be hitting shots, doing everything we can, playing good defense, and then we're gonna win.
Okay, so let's take a look at the graphic here. You got Stan Hardinger, 15.7. You got Vander, 15.3. Brandon Spearman, and of course the question is how much is he going to play, because we've seen Manrup Claire come in there, and some of the other guys, the freshman Joado, been doing such a great job. But this trio here is still going to be, at least the first 2 guys, got to be go-to guys.
Yeah, those guys are both impressive. They've got impressive numbers, but I think it's been the key in the last few games is the play of the role players. Manrup Claire, like you mentioned, Brandon Joado, Davis Rositas has come in and played a big role. And that's attributed to the coaching staff as well, developing these guys, giving them, having the faith in them, and put him in a position to win, and that's what they've done. They've come out there and they've played with confidence and played well.
Also, another freshman we've talked about a lot was Isaac Fullerton. His consistency and ability to get rebounds he's going to be one of the better freshmen in this conference. And if Hawaii can come out and dominate again on the boards like they did, take care of the ball, it should be a convincing win tonight.
Yeah, Isaac back to the better-known look tonight.
Yeah.
If you saw him Saturday night, he had the straightened-out hair. That was a result of a little contest he had with the Vis Rosetas. They did a three-point shot competition. Believe it or not, Davis won that, so he had to do a little hairscaping.
I wonder what Davis would have had to do if he'd have lost.
I don't think we want to know, do we?
Yeah.
Actually, it's something that we're going to have to find out. But let's talk about that win, that Big West opener. It wasn't pretty. I mean, there were times where Hawaii struggled. It was a survival game, but they survived and they won. And that's a critical point. That's all that really matters at the end of the day.
The key word you said, Howard, is surviving. In conference play, you just have to survive, whether you're at home or on the road. When you are at home, though, you want to take care of business at home and survive and come out with a victory. Any win is a good win in conference play.
It really doesn't matter if it was a pretty win or an ugly win. What matters is they won the game. Whenever they look back at their record at the end of the year or Gibbs' record in 10 years, they're just going to see a win there. That's all that matters.
Well, right now, let's take a look at the early standings. Granted, we're only one game into it. Everybody's playing right now. We probably have some halftime scores going on. We'll bring you more up to date at the end of this broadcast where everybody falls. But there you see Fullerton they won against UC Santa Barbara, Hawaii a winner. UC Irvine, Cal Poly, Long Beach State, that team that is picked to win the conference. They were all the winners. Then Northridge, Pacific, Davis, Santa Barbara, UC Riverside. They were the losers in round one. But again, all 10 teams playing tonight and again on Saturday. And so that's where they stack up. We talked about the free throws. It was a struggle for the University of Hawaii. And we talked about the fact that obviously Gib Arnold is going to have his team going a little bit back to the drawing board and certainly going back to the free throw line. But when we talked to him about his team's free throw shooting, you know, sure, he's concerned, but he's not ready to pull the panic button or to push it just yet. This is his thoughts on shooting from the line.
It's not really the distance between the line and the rim, I think. It's the distance between your ears at free throw. Those free throws, I've got guys from all over the world. That length, that free throw hasn't changed in their lifetime. It's always been the same shot, whether it's Croatia or Germany or Angola. It's the exact same shot. You're never guarded. You're 15 feet away. You know, we work on them every day. I've seen Christian Stanharder step up there and make 30 in a row. He missed his first 8. He was 1 for 9. Do I dwell on it? Do I call him out? Do I scream at him? No. Sometimes that happens. I've also seen him step up and make big free throws. We get back to work. We shoot him again. It's a living thing. It's not going to change. If there's a little hitch, a couple of guys early in the season had some hitches, yeah, we correct that. But if they have pure form and it's a pure shot, it's going to come around, and then it's got to be a confidence thing. So, you know, it's tough. I don't like it. It's frustrating, but you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and you know what? We were able to survive it and hopefully learn from it. And those guys hit enough shots this week to where they step up Thursday and have a lot of confidence.
And so you hear Gib Arnold using that same word, survive. They did. And again, we kind of talked about that too, I think, Saturday night. It's not so much the 15 feet, but the 6 inches from ear to ear. But I kind of like the way that he doesn't get too rattled about it. Says, you know what, these guys, they've been shooting these all your life, and you're going to have streaks where things work, where they don't. And do you kind of agree with that? And do you also have to take it upon yourself to just go out there and just shoot more? And is shooting more going to help? I mean, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the year, it's just muscle memory at this point. I really don't. There's no explanation for going 1 for 8 from the or 1 for 9 from the line. I've never seen that before. And Christian is a great free throw shooter, but maybe it's just because he's so mentally intense whenever he's playing basketball. I think maybe he's putting a little too much pressure on himself when he gets up to the free throw line.
It is between the ears, and I think it just comes down to the level of focus. Sometimes you take it for granted because there is no one guarding. But I mean, like Coach Allen said, they work on it every day, but it's just the level of focus that you have to have in order to when you are shooting a free throw. So, and I like Coach Arnold's approach. He doesn't get mad at him, doesn't put a lot of pressure on him, just because this game is a move next play. If you miss it, move on to the next play. Don't linger, don't think about it, because you have to focus on the game. And if you miss a free throw, everybody's going to miss. You know you work on them, so hopefully at some point you start making them throughout the game.
All righty, so We won't dwell anymore on the free throws. I guess if the coach is willing to move on, so will we. We'll talk a little bit more about this game in a moment, but first I want to bring you up to date with what's going on in terms of University of Hawaii athletics. Of course, the men's volleyball team, they open up tomorrow at BYU, and they get their season underway with a couple of big matches before they come home next week with the Outrigger Invitational and play 3 straight nights. Swimming and diving, they host Boise State, Minnesota, the USC in Wisconsin. Saturday, again, it's BYU. Men's volleyball. Women's basketball at UC Riverside. They're also, as we speak, playing at Cal State Fullerton, and we'll try our best to get an update for you on that. And then the diving team will be hosting the Diving Invitational, and then men's basketball also on Saturday. We'll be back here against UC Riverside, a 6:30 game on, followed by a 7 o'clock tip-off. Stick around, everybody. Much more to come as Game On continues on a cold, blustery, rainy night in Hawaii. Oh, you hope the fans are just going to brave the weather. Listen to us, brave the weather. It's 68 degrees outside. But those of us who live there, you know what we're talking about. It's Hawaiian wintertime, and it's Fullerton, and it's Hawaii, ready to tip it off at the Stan Sheriff Center.
Sponsored in part by UHA. Better health, better life.
And welcome back, everybody. A little NCAA basketball getting ready to tip things off. Cal State Fullerton versus the University of Hawaii Warriors. Again on a night we're outside. Well, it's a little wet and windy. Inside, it's a beautiful night. Come on and join us. If you watch the football game on television, you got plenty of time to come on down here, root on the Warriors. You know, we've been talking about so many things that Coach Gib Arnold has been trying to do. He really used that Diamond Head Classic to get a couple of his freshman guys, especially the point guards, an opportunity to get some very valuable minutes. So we talked to him about his points guards and what he likes when he looks at the trio of guys that are capable of running this team's offense.
Garrett is, I believe, he's our best on-ball defender. And we rely on him at the end of game situations when we start going offense to defense. I really like him guarding the ball. He's extremely quick and really good feet and hands. I like him as that Monroop, I think, is our best offensive player, our best shooter, and he's pretty quick with the ball. Although he's our weakest of the three players strength-wise, so sometimes he gets knocked out of where he wants to take the ball. And And Jace on the opposite side of that is our strongest and can get us into offense and has the ability, if it's a big guard, he's a little better defensive player for big guard. So they each bring their different talents. And, you know, I get asked a lot, who's your starter? We're going to win this thing together. You know, this is a team. The starters don't get an extra win or an extra loss. It's a team win or a team loss. So we're gonna win it together. And we're gonna try to play to their strengths. And based upon who we're playing, maybe one guy might play a little bit more. And obviously, if one guy's hot, he gonna play. You know, I'm gonna play the hot hand. So we're gonna keep that open. And it's gonna continue to be competitive. And those guys are all gonna get chances. And when they're ready to go, they're gonna get their shot.
So here we go. Here's the three guys. Jace DeVita, he pretty much was the starter at this season, the beginning of the season. Garrett Jefferson, you talked to the coach. We've known for a couple of years he's their best on-ball defender when they really need to put on the clamps. Down the stretch, he's going to be the guy. And Manrup Claire, he's had the hot hand. So give me your thoughts on these three guys. And, you know, it's a luxury to have three guys that can do the job. But when you look at these guys, what is your thought? And we'll begin with you because you're kind of the ball-handling guy.
For Coach Arnold, it is a luxury for him to have three guys that can step up and come in and run the show. But I know as a coach, you want that one guy who you can have confidence in and know that he's an extension of you on the court and can come out and run your team the way you want it. So I know he's looking for one of those guys to step up to where he can have that guy be the starter and playing 25 to 30 minutes a game. So when it comes down to it, you're not shuffling and you know who you're going with at the end of the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of those guys on the floor at the same time. I think that's just something that they lack sometimes is proper ball handling, bringing the ball up the court. So I think why not throw them both out there? Play Manrup a little bit on the off guard. He can shoot the ball really well. Garrett can guard multiple positions on the court. What Gibb has done though most of the year is he's done more of a focus on playing big. He's played Christian at the three, so I'm anxious to see where he goes in the future with that lineup.
Yeah, and who knows, Gibb Arnold may decide to go a little smaller tonight if he needs to try to keep up with the pace of this team because they're going to be small, they're going to be fast, and they're going to be swarming. So we talked about Manrup Claire, then the other two stellar freshmen, of course, Isaac Fotu, we mentioned him briefly, and then the other guys out there is Joato, who's been shooting the ball lights out, had a couple of big three-pointers against Cal State Northridge the other night. So we talked to the coach again about his trio of very talented young freshmen.
We had three freshmen on the floor together for 25 minutes against Northridge. And, you know, and beat a team that was playing really, really good basketball. So, you know, you can see I am starting to believe in these guys more, whereas early on, I knew it was going to be a process, so we were trying to find them time. That's why the Diamond Head Classic, even though we went 1-2, was so great for us. Those were high caliber games against extremely athletic, strong teams, and those guys played a lot of minutes. And I was glad we were able to do that. And I felt confident enough in them against the Northridge game to play them quite a bit.
I think I bring the shooting, like the deep threat, as in when it goes inside or Vander or Fotu, and I can hit the three-pointer once they kick it out.
Okay, so again, you talk about luxuries. You got a couple guys that could run the point, three freshmen. It's pretty unusual to maybe have one freshman that could really come in and make a significant difference on a team and a Division I team that's playing in the highest level. You got three guys that can come in and have done the job here. It's a pretty impressive statement.
It is. They're exciting to watch. I think they're coming in, they're playing loose. Fotu's been playing a lot all year, but these two new guys, Joato and Manrup, have both come in and played really well, produced, done exactly what the coaches asked them to do, and bringing the excitement, hitting those three balls. That's what they really needed. They needed people stepping up and hitting outside shots, and they've done that. And that's what they're able to. You guys are able to extend a little bit more. It just makes everything easier whenever you're hitting outside shots in basketball.
It's all about confidence in this game, and that's what Coach Arnold was doing in the preseason. He was getting these guys minutes, and that was building their confidence. Now, when they come in the game, they're hitting open shots, they're taking them with confidence. Manrup Claire comes in, he runs the team, and it's great to see Isaac Fotu be as advertised. I mean, he's going to be a great player here at the University of Hawaii when it's all said and done.
He's already pretty stellar here as a freshman, and he definitely is the real deal. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the opponent tonight, Cal State Fullerton. We'll check in with the guys at courtside to get their observations on this team that Hawaii is going to go up against in their second game as a new member of the Mountain West. Stick around, everybody. Back at the Stanley, getting ready to tip it off. It's Game On, presented by OC Sports Enhance. Hawaii versus Cal State Fullerton in the second Big West matchup with the University of Hawaii basketball team after better than 3 decades in the Western Athletic Conference. Here to talk about the game and the opponent tonight. I want to send it courtside to the trio of gentlemen who'll be calling the game. And of course, Kanoa, Tony, and Artie.
Thanks a lot, Howard. Yes, Kanoa Leahy, Tony Solito, Artie Wilson. Fullerton comes in, preseason picked 2nd in the Big West Conference. But let's talk about Hawaii. Preseason picked 4th, and of course the main reason why, the strength of this team, the size down low. Isaac Fotu, Christian Stan Hardinger, Vander Joachim, all playing well over the last couple of games, all playing well in the opener against Northridge. But the other day, Gib Arnold commented that not only does he want to continue to see the point production, rebound production, block shots production, but he talked about assists. What is he talking about exactly there?
Well, he wants to see his bigs go high-low. He wants to see the big guys playing together. When one gets the ball, if he's double-teamed, give it off to his teammate, and to keep the floor, the spacing good on the inside. The inside is real small, and Coach, you know this. You don't want your 2 bigs too close together. You want to have nice spacing between those guys so they can help each other.
Well, you know, I think floor spacing, number one, is a terrific thing if you can accomplish it as a coach. I mean, it's very difficult. The other thing I'd really like to see, folks, is them to throw the ball inside a lot more. I'd like to see a large number of assists coming from the guards to the big men because we are so dominant, especially tonight. It would be, I think, very important for Hawaii.
Cal State Fullerton has, seriously here, just one active official big man on the roster. That's Deuce Johnson, stands at 6'7". Other than that, they'll play about half the game with 5 guards. But what they do to compensate for that is they'll send double and triple teams into the post immediately. How do you expect the Hawaii big men to handle that kind of pressure?
Well, first and foremost, when the ball goes into them, they need to recognize things. And sometimes you don't hold the ball, you kick it back out and repost. And that's something that the Hawaii bigs need to do more of, especially against small guys. You get the ball in, you throw it back out, then you get a little deeper and you get it in again. That's what that's what you were just talking about, getting the ball inside.
Well, you know, Fotu doesn't seem to have that problem. I mean, he really gets the ball and quickly reacts, whether it's a pass or go to basket. You know, Vander has to pick up his quickness. We talked about this before. You know, I don't think it's a big thing, but I think it's a big thing for him to be able to do that, and especially tonight because, as Kanoa says, they very quickly double-team the post.
You know, talking with their coach before the game, Kanoa, you know, we were sitting there, and he said that he's got a post guy that he recruited that was supposed to be a 2-guard, and now he's playing post for
That's
him.
right.
So he's like, how bad is it for us? Hey, I've got a 2-guy that's now my post.
And that's because he's lost 4 post players since the beginning of the season for various reasons, injuries, guys who have left the team, guys who are on, well, now permanent leaves of absence. And so he's left really with this roster that consists of just one true big man. But very talented guards, and as we mentioned, they'll go 5 guards probably about 50% of the game, and they'll oftentimes go 5 out, 0 in offensively. How does Hawaii defend that?
Well, let's remember, I'm sorry, Artie, let's remember this. They're averaging 83 points a game, and that's 3rd in the United States. That's pretty darn good.
Wow, 3rd in the United States. Coach, you did a whole lot of research. 3rd in the United States. I thought he was going to say 3rd in the Big West.
No, they're number 3 in the country behind Indiana and Northwestern State.
And they're shooting the basketball real well. The hardest thing for the University of Hawaii is the bigs for Hawaii are going to have to get out and guard the guards. So, I mean, as much as an advantage we have on the inside when we're on offense, on defense, it's going to require our big guys to be very active and to move their feet and not commit fouls with their body.
Well, I think that's a terrific strategy, 5 guards out, you know, especially if you don't have any big men, you're playing a 2-guard at the center. So, you know, maybe it'll make them successful. They seem to run the ball really well, so, you know, I'm looking for a high-scoring game.
A lot of talk, obviously, throughout the last couple of weeks, but even here in this pregame show about free throws. You have Cal State Fullerton, a team not struggling at the line. 79%, in fact, from the free throw line as a team compared to 64 now for Hawaii. So it'll be interesting to see how that statistic and that category plays out as well here tonight in this crucial early Big West Conference matchup. That's it for us for now. We'll see you at tip-off. Let's send it back to Howard and the gang.
All right, Kanoa, gentlemen, thank you very much. So you hear the matchup. It's all about size versus speed. Here's the big three for them, Von Seeley and Jaeger. You mentioned Kanoa saying that Deuce, not Bigelow, but Deuce, the only big man, and moderately big at 6'7". So when you look at these two teams, what do you expect to see tonight? You've said, Bill, that Hawaii hasn't always done well in the past when they face this kind of a trapping team.
Yeah, I mean, with the way the style of play, we're trying to get the ball into the post the whole game. It's going to be tough. We're going to have to make decisions quickly, and that's sometimes something Vander sometimes struggles with. One thing I do want to talk about is we might not be as good at analyzing basketball as those guys are, but we're definitely better dressed than they are.
Just look for UH to come out and do what they do. Throw the ball inside, play inside out, have the big man work, and look for Fullerton, those guards to really look to maintain their scoring numbers.
All right, for the record, that was Bill calling out Artie on wardrobe. Something few men have ever chosen to do. A shirt that says Happy New Year. Same to you, everybody. Enjoy the game on OC Sports.
Basketball fans, please rise for the singing of our national anthem and Hawaii Pono'i. And we welcome to the hard court here at the Stan Sheriff Center a young lady who comes from Aiea, Hawaii. She enjoys playing cello in the school's advanced intermediate strings and also performs in school plays. She is an 8th grader at St. Andrew's Priory School. Please welcome Krista Chang.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's first gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof
Ladies and gentlemen, Krista Chang.
Rainbow Warrior Basketball on OC Sports is presented by Oceanic Time Warner Cable. Let's meet the starting lineups.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Stan Sheriff Center for tonight's Big West matchup between the Cal State Fullerton Titans and your University of Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. And now, the starting lineup for the Cal State Fullerton Titans. At forward, 6'7" junior from North Hollywood, California, number 33, James Deuce Johnson. At forward, a 6'4" senior from Modesto, California, number 3, Sammy Yeager. At guard, a 6'1" sophomore from Richmond, California, number 23, Alex Harris. At guard for the Titans, 6'3" senior from Oakland, California, number 5, Kwame Vaughn. And at guard, a 6'1" sophomore from Richmond, California. Excuse me, at guard, a 6'4" senior from Stockton, California, number 11, DJ Seeley. The interim head coach for the Cal State Fullerton Titans is Andy Newman. For your University of Hawaii Rainbow Warrior basketball team. Starting in guard, a 6'2" freshman from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, number 33, Manroop Claire. At forward, a 6'8" freshman from Torbay, Auckland, Aotearoa, number 42, Isaac Fotu. At forward, he is a 6'8" junior from Munich, Germany, number 34, Christian Stadhardinger. At forward, a 6'6" senior from Bartlett, Tennessee, number 21, Hans Brereton. And at center for your Rainbow Warriors, he is a 6'10" senior from Luanda, Angola, number 15, Vander Joaquin. Head coach for your Hawaii Rainbow Warriors is Gabe Arnold.
It was a matter of size over speed last Saturday as the Rainbow Warrior basketball team put on a successful Big West Conference debut against the Cal State Northridge Matadors. Hawaii looks to carry that momentum into the new calendar year, starting with one of the conference's perennial contenders. It's a clash of the Titans and Rainbow Warriors, Cal State Fullerton versus Hawaii, and it's next. Here are the Hawaiian Tel FCU starting lineup scrolling at the top of your screen. For the third time this season, freshman Manrup Claire will get the start at point guard for the Rainbow Warriors. But it'll be Vander Joachim jumping with Deuce Johnson at center court. They both whiff on the first offering, so they'll do it again. Hawaii coming in with a 7-5 overall record, getting off to a winning start in the Big West Conference, defeating Cal State Northridge over the weekend. Fullerton coming in riding a 4-game win streak, also 7-5 overall. They defeated UC Santa Barbara on Saturday to start conference play. Hans Brereton gets it to Christian Stan Hardinger. The pass down low to Fotu goes out of bounds. Christian Stan Hardinger, the only player for Hawaii to start all 12 games this season.
And that was one example of the spacing and the angles not being in sync with the pass from one big to another big.
Well, I think people have to understand, listeners, players, young kids, you got to have the best angle is a 45-degree angle to throw the ball into the post. And if you bounce past the ball, you better be certain that low post man has the ability to catch it. A lot of coaches don't profess that kind of approach. They throw the ball straight to their low post player. So, you know, it depends on who's doing the catching. 45-degree angle.
Offensive foul called against DJ Seeley at the Fullerton offensive end. Andy Newman is the interim head coach for the Titans as Stan Hardinger misses from the elbow. Here's Kwame Vaughn up the floor. That's stripped and chased down by Stan Hardinger. Andy Newman, as we mentioned, the interim head coach for Cal State Fullerton, takes over for Bob Burton, who resigned, at least it went in the books as a resignation after last season, following 9 seasons on the job. Won 21 games last year, but had a bit of a player revolt. Had guys who complained about him and his coaching methods, had guys who threatened to leave the team. And so Bob Burton, it was reported, actually forced out. It goes in the books as a resignation. And Andy Newman, who was an assistant on that staff, he takes over for this year. Vander Joachim getting in the shot clock category. And now Fotu down low, able to maneuver for the 2. That's definitely the advantage for Hawaii, the bigs downstairs.
Oh, it's a huge advantage, and Hawaii needs to take advantage of getting the ball inside to the bigs when they're open and when they want the ball.
Kwame Vaughn, leading scorer in the Big West Conference, averaging 19 points per game. Had 27 in the Big West opener the other night against UCSB. Was also 12 of 12 from the free throw line. Here's Hans. It's been a struggle for the majority of this season so far for Brereton, but he sets up Fotu perfectly. And how about the positioning by the big freshman?
Well, the big freshman knows how to get good post position. He stays down low. He doesn't allow another guy to push him out.
Vaughn, step back over Claire, and Joachim pulls down the board. You would anticipate a heavy rebounding night for Vander Joachim and Fotu. It's been a heavy offensive night so far for Isaac Fotu.
Well, once again, Isaac Fotu understands where to be on the floor at the right place, and he's getting pretty good assists by his teammates.
It's Fotu 6, Kwame Vaughn 2 here in the early goings. Deuce Johnson, the left-hander, missing up close. It's knocked out of bounds, last touch by Hawaii.
A moment ago, you see Hans Brereton throw a nice bounce pass into Isaac Fotu. He catches the ball and just finishes. You know, he's 2 feet from the basket when he catches it, and it's an easy shot.
Sammy Yeager trying a 3. He's a transfer from TCU. Went crazy against UC Santa Barbara. A career-high 30 points. He was 8 of 11 from outside the arc. But he misses on that try. Hawaii trying to look into the paint again. Brereton rubbing off the screen set by Joachim. Here's Vander, turnaround shot, doesn't get the bounce, Fotu tip. No, Fotu a second time.
It's become the Isaac Fotu show. And we talked about in the beginning of the season, he is not only a vertical rebounder, but he's a horizontal guy. He can go up and go out to get the ball.
Fotu has scored double digits in the last 3 games. 2 of those were double doubles, as you see the nice lefty finish by Alex Harris. But Fotu already almost into double digits. He's got 8. With these 3 bigs on the floor, there's going to be a mismatch. Usually there'll be 2 mismatches as far as who Fullerton can put on the Hawaii post players.
Well, Fullerton is so small, you may have to put guys on each other's shoulders because they are really small out there.
Well, you know.
Here's Fullerton. He's got the first 10 points, guys. 16 points, 11 rebounds in 31 minutes versus Northridge for Fullerton. He's got 10 and 2 already in this one. We're just under 16 minutes to go in the first half. "12 seconds on the shot clock. Vaughn leaves it for Yeager. Gets right by Fullerton. Floater in the lane is good. He's considered the X factor, according to interim head coach Andy Newman, talking about Sammy Yeager. The reigning Big West Conference Player of the Week.
Well, you know, they're 5 or 6 throwing the ball inside. You really don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that. You throw the ball inside, we're going to score.
Spacing an issue, though, on that trip for Hawaii. And then speaking of trips, Alex Harris hits the deck. And they're going to have to clean up some perspiration on the hardwood. It's 10-6, Fullerton up 4. Let's take a look at the Kaiser Permanente keys to the game, guys.
Well, for Cal State Fullerton, talking with their coach before the ball game, he says they've got to play fast and faster. If the game becomes a slow-down game where Hawaii's height advantage takes over, it'll be a long night.
And for Hawaii, Vander Fotu show, half of it's right. Fotu has all the points, and Vander's probably been standing there watching and thinking, I'm going to get the next 5 because I think they have a great advantage inside.
10 points for Isaac Fotu. He's 5 of 6 from the floor. Brandon Spearman, 6'3" junior, transfer from Indian Hills Community College, now on the floor. He replaces Stan Hardinger, so Hawaii goes a bit smaller with this lineup. Fullerton into a zone look.
In that zone is to really pack it inside to try and minimize the effectiveness of Fotu.
Claire will try to bust the zone, can't hit on the 3, and Brereton knocks it out of bounds.
Well, there was like 20 seconds left on the shot clock. I think we could have worked the ball around a little bit more on that.
You didn't like that? You didn't like that shot?
No, I didn't like it. The only good 3-point shot is the one that goes in.
Claire now 10 of 28 from the land of 3 here this season. Vaughn able to back Claire down, misses the bunny though, but Vander couldn't hang on to it. It'll stay here with Fullerton. Rainbow Wahine basketball team also in action, also against Cal State Fullerton on the road, however, and losing tonight, 83-74. How about some upsets in Big West play, though? At least according to what some were expecting here in the preseason polls. Long Beach State, the preseason favorite in the conference, falling to Cal Poly. And UC Riverside, the next opponent for Hawaii, is Spearman able to beat the Fullerton defense down the floor, edging Cal State Northridge and UC Santa Barbara. That's also considered a bit of an upset over UC Irvine. Deep 3 try, rattles in and out on Sealy. And it'll belong to Hawaii with the 3-point lead. Brandon Jawato checks in, replacing Hans Brereton.
How would you like to play for a team where you have the absolute green light to shoot threes?
That's exciting.
From as deep on the floor as you want.
If
He
you
has
have
no choice.
If you have a Fullerton jersey on, you know that feeling. Every single one of these players pretty much has the green light. Here's Vaughn with the green light to the hoop.
Well, they have no choice, though. I mean, come on. They're very, very small for a college team. They're very small for a high school team. No.
It's a 1-point game. Claire looking into Fotu, nothing doing there. Vander lobs it down to Fotu. Good pass to Spearman. He charges to the hoop, and he gets fouled by Deuce Johnson.
Well, just a tough pass there by Monroe Claire. And then nice return. Fullerton goes down and flushes it. Vaughn does a nice job of just going up over the rim.
So here's Brandon Spearman now at the free throw line. Has come off the bench now, including this game, the last 6 outings. As opposed to the way he started the year, where he was an integral part of that first rotation.
Yeah, I thought Brandon Spearman was probably the most solid of the players in the first 4, 5, 6 ball games of the year.
Well, I think he's easily the most aggressive player on the team. He's extremely aggressive and aggressive offensively. He goes after that ball and goes to the basket extremely well.
Just 9 minutes played against Cal State Northridge. Was said to be feeling a little under the weather, and so looks like he's good to go here tonight. We'll see how that impacts his playing time. Here's Jaeger working against Fotu. Able to get the bigs up in the air. This is now Harris in the deep corner around Jawato, and lefty finish a second time.
Not supposed to do that. The Hawaii big stood there and watched that play.
These guards for the Titans are certainly athletic as advertised for sure. They'll pressure you. Claire with the step. Jawato right corner, 3 on the way, doesn't go. A foul though, and it'll be on the shot. It's gonna go against Harris, that's his first. It'll send Jawato to the free throw line to shoot 3.
Watch this nice move here now. He goes up and the Hawaii bigs are sitting there watching it. You can't do that, huh, Coach?
Block the shot.
Block the shot, and then you look at this foul. Now what's the call was?
Might be on the landing, perhaps. If he stepped under him, that is something that the shooter has the privilege of, is being able to come down on the shot. But didn't really see it, certainly not from that replay angle. Jawato able to knock in the free throw. Alex Harris, another Division I transfer, by the way. He transferred in from Northeastern, sat out last year. Davis Rositas comes onto the floor, speaking of transfers, started his career at USC. But the thing about Fullerton, Coach, this is a team that features 9 Division I transfers on its roster.
And I think that's the way they have to go, probably, to recruit. But this Davis is going to be a factor in this game. As soon as he comes in, Hawaii goes to a 3-2 zone with him on the top, and he's going to be a little bit too tall for them to handle. He's way bigger than anybody else on that Fullerton team.
Well, we'll see if they can. They have the green light to shoot it from real deep, and let's see if they can shoot it over him.
Under normal circumstances, Fullerton would love to see a zone D. The dump down, here's Jared Brandon. Ball rotates around. Jaeger an open 3 look, that rattles out. Spearman gets cut off at the pass.
Going to that basket, you better get him. He's moving.
Rositas down to Fotu, that high-low game. Fotu misses up close though. Jawato open for 3. Jaeger wrestles away the board. Then called for the missed dribble. Little raggedy here in the last few trips up and down the floor. Hawaii up 3, just under 12 minutes to go. We'll be back. Today's record is sponsored by Aston Hotels and Resorts. The last meeting, November 13th, 2010, Hawaii over Cal State Fullerton 84-70. That was part of that year's Rainbow Classic. And Fullerton, when they played in that Outrigger Hotels Rainbow Classic, actually went 0-3, losing to Central Michigan, Hawaii, and Montana State. That was under head coach Bob Burton. Of course, Andy Newman, now the interim head coach, and he'll be looking to impress, if at all possible, the new athletic director, who happens to be Jim Donovan, the former University of Hawaii AD.
Yeah, it's really nice that Jim got a nice position. I'm sure he'll do very, very well at...
So fast, that's terrific.
Yeah, it's great.
There's Joato, missed his first 2 attempts from outside the arc, missed the mid-ranger there. Last touched out of bounds, though, by the Titans. Rosita standing tall deep in the paint, but they send it up top to Spearman.
Oh, did he carry that?
Oh, goodness, that was a carry.
Yeah, it looked so nice and so smooth that they didn't call it.
Joato rises up and then turns it over. Yeager was ready and waiting. Harris, the hesitation, drops it off to Yeager. Vaughn up top to Seeley. That one bangs off the heel, no good. Scramble for the loose ball. Joato saves it out of bounds, but right to Vaughn. Yeager for 3. Got it.
If you give them second and third chances and they knock down 1 out of 3 of those and it's a 3, they're going to be in the ball game all night.
Call that a Yeager bomb. He had 8 of those the other night against UC Santa Barbara. Seeley, the near steal, leads the team in that category, and then the unforced turnover. Spearman passes it out of bounds.
Watch. See?
Jace Tavita now coming onto the floor along with Garrett Jefferson. So Spearman and Joato will sit. And Garrett Jefferson, a guy against these bigger athletic guards for Fullerton. You were thinking before the game, Coach, that you thought he would get some time for defensive purposes in this contest.
He's a perfect Fullerton player. He's very active defensively.
Jay Seeley cross court. Yeager pumps Stan Hardinger out of the way. The step back 3 try off the mark. Jefferson corrals it. We're knotted at 16. Thoughts on the pace of this one so far, guys?
Well, I think the pace favors UH. Yeah. I thought that Fullerton would pick it up a little bit.
Yeah, they haven't gotten rebounds, so that's the hard part. They haven't been able to kick it, get it out.
Good kick there. Jefferson to Claire. Can't hit. Seeley the board. Weaving up the court, and he's fouled by Jefferson. Well, in order to compensate for the lack of size, Fullerton certainly depending on the guards to crash the boards, and that's something that they actually do very well. When you look at guys like Kwame Vaughn, the point guard, who actually leads the team not only in scoring, but in rebounding at 5.2 rebounds per game. Alex Harris pulling them down at a 4.5 rebound per game clip. And so that's something that's already in their DNA. The Hawaii Bigs are going to have to find ways to put a body on some of these little mites heading down to the glass.
Well, as you say that, I said to Ferd Lewis before the game, I hope they can jump because they're not that big, and they certainly can jump. They're extremely athletic, a little bit more athletic than I thought. So I think perhaps maybe they'll be able to play a tough game against UH.
Let's take a look at the Jack Fact for this evening. Sharpshooters, Cal State Fullerton Titans lead the Big West in free throw shooting, field goals, 3-point field goal percentage, and scoring margin. I mean, this is a team that is, by every definition, an offensive juggernaut. They are 3rd in the nation in points per game, behind only Indiana and Northwestern State.
Well, the other thing that this team does is they get 8 to 9 steals a ball game. So even if they're not that large, they get after you defensively, make you turn the ball over, get steals, and they get more shot opportunities as a result.
Well, I think as a former coach, you know, once your players really feel that they're a terrific free throw or 3-point shooting team, Believe me when I tell you, that's what they go after. They're not afraid to do that.
Well, if you give them the green light and confidence that it's okay to miss, it's even better for guys.
I agree 100%. Mental toughness, shooting your free throws and your threes is really a big advantage.
Hawaii in the zone.
They're always looking. Every time they penetrate, they're looking for the three-point shot.
Sealy.
Every single time. Yep. Every time.
Yep.
DJ Sealy knocks that one down. He's shooting them at 38% from outside the arc this season.
With the dribble and kick. Dribble and kick.
It's what they do, and it results in a three-point advantage. Jefferson tried to smooch it off the glass. No, Fultu's tip wasn't there. Fullerton pushing it up the floor. Yeager stopping it, popping for three. Hasn't quite had the hot hand like he did in his last outing. Stan Hardinger back on the floor for Hawaii. Gets it to Tavita. Down low to Fultu, who hammers it down.
Isaac Fultu has been very effective on the inside. 12 points.
12 points now for Isaac Fultu. If you're just joining us, it has been thus far the Isaac Fultu show for Hawaii. Fullerton doing it on a more team-wide basis. Vaughn, that one tipped by Jefferson. Back to Vaughn for three. They are not shy, are they?
No. They don't even, I mean, there's nothing set up on the inside, so everything is really outside, and they're trying to get those threes.
Time now for the Fujitsu air conditioning cool play of the game, and doesn't get much cooler than the big fella with the two-hand flush.
That isn't very cool.
Kwame Vaughn picking up that last foul. That's his first. 5 team fouls for Fullerton compared to just 1 for Hawaii. But a turnover, and it goes in the direction of the Titans. Take a look at what happened here.
Well, he dribbled the ball, lost his balance, and then tripped over the defender, and then the ball went out of bounds.
And immediately, Tavita sent to the bench.
Yeah, that was a short lease.
Replaced by Claire. There's a block by Joaquim. Claire trying to force the issue. Double teamed. Up top it goes to Jefferson. To Fultu. Another jam.
Fultu says, I just like this game. I just like the way it's going. Just keep it going, guys. Just keep it going.
The big three. We're talking literally. Sealy for a three-pointer of his own. That one off the mark, chased down by Jared Brandon. You're talking about Christian Stan Hardinger, Vander Joachim, and Isaac Fultu as Deuce Johnson gets clear for a flush of his own. Stan Hardinger, no points. Vander Joachim, no points. Isaac Fultu, 14.
As well as Isaac has played, Hawaii is still behind, 21-20.
Jefferson, he'll try a three. He's 0 for 5 now on the season from out there. Left corner, left open, and making the defense pay is DJ Sealy. He's got 9. That's his 3rd triple.
Well, you know, DJ Sealy was picked like about the 9th best 2-guard in the United States in some magazines. He can play a little bit.
Was a first-team All-Big West selection last year.
He can play a little bit, definitely.
Claire will try to answer. Can't do it. Stan Hardinger taps it to Joaquim. Great play by Stan Hardinger, who gets it back and finishes. Isaac Fultu from the floor so far in this half, guys, 7 of 9. The rest of the team, 2 of 13.
Oof.
There's a steal, tipped by Claire, picked up by Jefferson, all the way to the rack. Can't finish. Claire follows it up. We're tied again.
That was good defense by University of Hawaii and a great follow on that play.
Good drive by Sealy to make space for himself. Deuce Johnson able to clean up the mess. In terms of rebounding, Hawaii with a 16-13 advantage. Points in the paint, Hawaii with a 20-12 advantage. Fullerton actually hanging pretty tough underneath the glass so far and hanging on to a 2-point lead. DJ Seeley starting to heat up.
Find the perfect gift for every occasion at Big Island Candies. Visit them at their flagship in Hilo at Ala Moana Center or click on BigIslandCandies.com to view their entire collection and place your order today.
Back here at the Stan Sheriff Center, Kanoa Leahy along with Tony Salito and Artie Wilson, and we were expecting it to be a tightly fought battle. So far, with 5.5 minutes left in the first half, we have been proven correct. 26-24 in favor of Cal State Fullerton, which is shooting 44% from the field compared to just under 42% for Hawaii.
And the rebound advantage is to Hawaii, 16 rebounds to 13 for Cal State Fullerton. I was actually shocked that Cal State's that close in the rebounding department.
And how about second chance points in favor of Fullerton, 10-6. So actually hanging pretty tough against the much larger Rainbow Warriors so far in this game. You got a good look there at the contemplation by head coach Gib Arnold in his third season. He's been using a lot of different starting lineups this year and really over the course of the last 6 ball games in particular. Trying to find that right combination.
Well, the combination thus far tonight is 0 for 5 from three-point area, so.
There's a turnover. Yeager finishes the deal. Here's another steal. Vaughn picking pockets, gets fouled, and he'll go to the line. Fouled by Claire.
Well, I was never, ever a coach that changed lineups. So, you get picked twice. Sometimes coach gets a little upset and wants to change a lineup. So
that sends Kwame Vaughn to the free throw line. He was a second teamer in the Big West last year. He is currently on the watch list for the Bob Cousy Award, which is given to the nation's top point guard. And well, that's his first miss from the free throw line in a while. He was 12 for 12 against UCSB. But what's really interesting is the dynamic, the relationship between Kwame Vaughn and DJ Seeley. These are two guys averaging 19 and 18 points respectively for this team. They share the spotlight, but they do so in support of each other. They're roommates, they're competitors in practice. They go back home and they battle on the video game system. I mean, these guys certainly go at it, but they do it with a respect for one another.
They make each other better.
Well, not only do they look alike, they play alike.
Spearman misses the layup. Joaquin misses the putback. Extra pass, Harris for 3. Offensive rebound, Deuce Johnson. And a tie-up will be called as Fultu was able to get one of his big paws on it. But the possession arrow will keep it in the possession of Fullerton.
Well, credit Deuce Johnson for being a monster on the inside. He goes up there, gets the ball blocked, but he still is battling. And remember, it's him against the world in a sense, because he's the only big that they have.
And a foul on the dribble. They're going to get Spearman on this one. And that's what interim head coach Andy Newman said when talking about Deuce Johnson. He said, hey, look, when it comes to our big men, because of the guys, 4 post players since the start of the season that either have been injured or left the team for a different reason, he says it's Deuce or bust down low. Here's Yeager going against Joato and use that little chicken wing, the hook, and he's called for the offensive foul. That's the second foul on Yeager. So Yeager takes a seat, and into the game comes Jared Brandon. He's the de facto big for this team, 6'4" freshman. He's the guy who rotates down into the post, usually when Deuce Johnson is not on the floor.
What'd you say, Kanoa? 6'4"?
Yeah.
He goes into the post.
Frosh.
Oh, oof.
Here's Joato up top to Claire. Good skip pass here. Fotu. Triple team somehow gets it back out to Joato. Drives the lane. It goes in. It'll be a blocking foul. That's an and one for Brandon Joato.
Well, let's watch this now. Oof. And the officials are going to talk about, oh no, they're not going to talk about it. They're going to switch sides so the coach can have a conversation.
And that's personal foul number Deuce on Deuce. And Joato at the free throw line, where he misses. Was 2 of 4 coming into this game from the charity strike. Vaughn, how about the drive and the challenge on Joaquin?
You can't let him go by you that easy.
No, that's a block right there. That can't happen.
That's not only, it's not only Vander, it's the guard can't let the other guy go by that quick.
Well, I guess you can let these guys go by you quick. They're quick.
Oh my gosh.
They're real quick.
Tried to post up Joaquin, showing a little frustration. He wanted the ball there, and Claire passes it right to Vaughn. Ahead to Seeley, and he finishes.
Wow, that was really a nice catch and shoot. That was a very difficult play right there. Extremely difficult for anybody.
Another steal. This is Harris to Seeley for the jam. That's 10 turnovers for the Rainbow Warriors, an 11-2 run for Cal State Fullerton, and a very necessary timeout called by the Hawaii bench.
Yeah, this is a big time timeout Hawaii is needing. And the strength of Cal State Fullerton is showing up big in this ball game, and that strength is in their guards.
Cal State Fullerton with 12 points off of those 10 Hawaii turnovers. Hawaii with 4 points off of Fullerton's turnovers, which is at 6.
And Vander and Hardinger have yet to score. Is that true?
Stan Hardinger has 2 points. Vander Joachim still scoreless. But of course, the big night so far for Isaac Fotu. He's got 14.
So Seeley's 13.
Seeley has 13, yes. Jace Tavita back out on the floor to run the point here for Hawaii. What do you think about that substitution, guys?
It's much needed.
Tavita dared to shoot, and he hits.
I don't think he was put in for his three-point prowess, but
that's just bonus.
Yeah.
The drive by Vaughn. It'll be a blocking foul called against Tavita, his first. So turnovers hurting Hawaii. Fullerton up 6. Let's go inside the numbers presented by Burger King. The number is 57. Points scored by Sammy Yeager and Kwame Vaughn in their win over UCSB to open Big West Conference play on Saturday. Yeager went for a career-high 30. Kwame Vaughn went for 27. It was, by comparison, I guess, a quiet night for DJ Seeley. But that's the kind of production that this Fullerton team gets out of its guards, and that's what makes the Titans so dangerous regardless of the matchup.
Well, I don't know, Coach, what guards you're talking about. 2 of them or 5 of them? Because they play 5 at one time.
Well, they have 5 guards out on the floor now. There's a steal by Brandon Spearman, and he collides with Seeley. Seeley's going to pick up the blocking foul.
The one thing about Brandon Spearman is everything he does at full speed. I mean, he's trying to get steals, he's trying to grab loose balls, everything he does, and he does it strong. And that's the value of Spearman.
And here he is at the free throw line.
Aggressive player, most aggressive player on this team, that's for sure.
73% free throw shooter. He knocks that one down. For the latest information on UH Athletics, go to hawaiiathletics.com for UH news, tickets, videos, and more. Also visit UH's Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube sites to follow your favorite teams and get current fan promotions. Friendly roll that time for Spearman. And it's back to a 4-point game. This is James Douglas, newly inserted onto the floor, working against Fotu. How about this matchup? The pull-up jumper way too strong. Right into the waiting hands of Joaquin. Fotu, great position. He has been unstoppable on the post.
He gets down to his neighborhood, and it's his neighborhood.
16 points for Fotu. Everyone forgets about Alex Harris, but he can't hit. Joaquin taps the rebound to himself. And Hawaii can tie it, maybe take the lead with a 3.
Great assist by Tavita. Good patience by Hawaii that time in their offensive set.
An 8-0 Hawaii run. Isaac Fotu has 18 of Hawaii's 35 first-half points.
And I like the patience Hawaii showed. Spearman showed the patience, got it over to Jace Tavita, and he had the right angle to get the ball in, and Fotu just flushed it. Coach, since Jace Tavita's come in the ball game and Brandon Spearman's come in the ball game, the turnovers have stopped and Hawaii looks more effective.
Well, I think it's a better suited game for the older players. It's a little bit too quick for the younger players, and it's bothered them. The other thing is, I think one of the keys of the game before the game started was Fotu and Vander inside, and it seems like Fotu is the one that's getting open. He's 8 or 9 or something.
He's now 9 of 11.
9 of 11, and that is that's remarkable.
He has 18 points. That ties his career high, which he scored against Chaminade in that game on Molokai.
Well, Vander has no points, but he has 7 rebounds, and I like Vander's attitude. He's not pouting out on the floor. He's battling, he's grabbing rebounds, and he's doing what he needs to do to help his team out.
Seeley misses the runner. The putback is there by Jared Brandon. It just sort of trickled to him in the lane. So Hawaii back down a pair. Stan Hardinger finds Spearman on the other side. 3 up, 3 down.
Good assist by Christian. Nice shot by Brandon Spearman.
That is the second 3-pointer made in this first half for Hawaii. They're 2 of 7 from out there. Fullerton 4 of 14. Tavita knocked it away. Chased down in the backcourt by Douglas. No change in possession. A backcourt violation. Rainbow Warriors take over. Somebody has to take on the inbounding responsibilities. It's finally Stan Hardinger.
Not Fotu. Leave Fotu in his neighborhood, huh?
18 points for Isaac Fotu. First half isn't done. He's already matched his career high. Having an absolute monster game. Stan Hardinger. Nothing in low. The bullet pass to Fotu. He's got 20.
Another nice assist by Tavita. And Isaac Fotu is having it his way.
throw indeed. Hawaii up 3. About a 3-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Sealy with the kick. Here's Douglas. Almost lost it. Sealy will try a 3 and knock it down. His 4th three-pointer of this game. He has 16. 4 seconds for Hawaii to try to do something with it. It's knocked out of bounds. It belongs to the Titans.
Isaac Fotu is getting a nice assist from up high. He's just finishing the ball game.
Harris from midcourt at the buzzer off the mark. So we are knotted at 40 as we head into intermission. Half of Hawaii's points coming courtesy the freshman from New Zealand, 6'8", 240-pound Isaac Fotu will start all over when the second half begins. We'll be back with more from the Stan Sheriff Center after this.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Stan Sheriff Center. We are at the half, and Isaac Fotu has half of Hawaii's points, a new career high. But we are knotted up at 40 all. Welcome back inside. Isaac Fotu, he is just putting on a show in here. He has had, I don't know how many slam dunks and easy baskets underneath, but at one point he had all 12 of the team's points.
I'd love to see a shot chart. They're all probably within a few feet of the rim. That's exactly what you want whenever you're a big man. They're feeding the ball well. Almost all the assists are probably going to Isaac Fotu as well, and he's doing a good job of finishing up high, keeping the ball up high and finishing.
Yeah, he is. Like he's right around the basket when he catches it. He's a great finisher. He has great hands. So, and his teammates are finding him, giving the ball in good position as well. And what I like about Isaac Fotu, Fullerton, they're a little scrappy team. They like to trap. They like to send double teams and triple teams. As soon as he gets it, he makes his quick move and he goes. So I'm enjoying watching him play this first half, and he has a career high already in the first half.
Yeah, kind of really interesting that Vander Joaquin so far is scoreless, but he's still in there battling, getting a lot of rebounds and doing what he needs to do. The hot hand, of course, for the opponent, DJ Sealy. Had it not been for him, this game would have been a blowout, but DJ, he's come alive. This guy is 6 of 11, and he is 4 of 7 from three-point range. He has 16 points of his own in the first half.
DJ Sealy, he's a tough, experienced, seasoned guard. I mean, he's an all-leaguer from last last year, and he comes in here with high hopes, high expectation this year to be the player of the year. And he's keeping his game in there, keeping his team in there, knocking down open shots and getting everybody involved as well.
Yeah, I mean, with a three-headed monster like Fullerton has, it's going to be tough to keep them all scoreless. But you don't want to see what Sealy's doing right now. Sealy's really exposing their defense. He's exposing whenever he's got the young guys on him. I've just noticed there's been a lack of rotation in Hawaii's D, and he's made him pay for it.
And Fullerton is living with the tools that we knew that they would kind of work coming in. They steal the ball, they swarm you, they force turnovers. We'll talk about that when we come back. Stick around, everybody. We're at the half. Hawaii, Cal State Fullerton, knotted up at 40. Welcome back, everybody, at the half. We are knotted up. There you see the score. 40 all, Fullerton versus Hawaii. Howard Deshevsky along with Johnny White and Bill Amos. Coming into this game, we knew what was going to happen. This is a team, talking about Fullerton, no big man. They swarm you defensively. They try to create steals. Well, they've done their job. If you look at the stats, Hawaii, well, they've had their pocket picked a total of 7 times, only 2 the opposite way. Lost opportunities between turnovers and steals. Hawaii has given it up 18 times.
And the thing about these turnovers, they're unforced turnovers. They're just being careless with the basketball right now. The guards have to stop playing so nonchalant, take care of the ball, and value the basketball. Like I said, these are unforced turnovers, and it's keeping Fullerton in the game right now.
Yeah, I mean, Hawaii really asserted its game plan early. It was a low-scoring game. It was a battle down low. But then a few key turnovers out at half court that were unnecessary, that really took Hawaii out of its game plan and played into Fullerton's game plan. And the fact that now it's a 40-point game. Each team has 40 points, and I think Fullerton averages about 80 points on the year. So right now we're playing at Fullerton's pace, and they really need to play at UH's pace.
They're the number 3 scoring team in the country, averaging 83 and change per game. When we come back, we'll talk about what the Warriors need to do in the second half to try to break the ice here, pull out a victory. Stick around, everybody. We're at the Stan Sheriff Center. Thanks for joining us on this soggy Thursday night. Having a little fun here on a Thursday night in the Stan Sheriff Center, a man of many colors there. But he's got the Hawaii towel and the Warriors.
He's got the Latvian national team shirt on. It's Davies' Latvian national team shirt.
Yeah.
So they both have one, actually.
It's a very cool shirt. Well, he just won a contest of some sort. Anyway, so we're knotted up here at 40. Isaac Fotu, an all-world career night, 20 points. But Vander Joachim, he's scoreless. Do you need to try to get him into the action, or do you kind of stick with the same game plan?
I mean, I don't think Isaac Fotu is going to come out and score another 20 points. So I do think that they need to get Vander more involved in the offense. He's doing a good job asserting himself defensively. He has 7 rebounds and 2 blocks. But I mean, the more they can feed him and draw in that defense, and he can have the ability to kick out as well.
He will get involved in the offense. It's going to come to him. He's being patient. He's feeding off Isaac. He has 7 rebounds, no points, but he'll get more involved, and Coach Arnold will get him involved more. Look for them to come out, be more aggressive, and also look for Fullerton to come out and continue to shoot the ball from deep and attack UH big.
And you talked about at the beginning of the game, you were saying that you've been in this situation as a big guy with this swarming defense. I mean, they pester you like gnats. It can get irritating after a while, can it?
Yeah, it is frustrating. You can see it towards the end of the half on Vander's face. He's starting to get a little frustrated, but I mean, he's just got to slow down, play his game. I actually probably should speed up. His game is pretty slow as is, but if he just gets the ball, makes a quick move, he'll be fine. He has great touch around the rim. He doesn't need to think as much as he's doing right now, I think.
All right, well, we'll see what the Warriors do when they come back out of their locker room. Stick around, everybody. When we come back, we're going to send it back over to courtside to Kanoa, Tony, and Artie. Second half of Warrior basketball coming up right here, exclusively on OC Sports.
Let's take a look at the McDonald's halftime statistics as we bring you back to the Stan Sheriff Center. Knotted up at 40. What are some of the numbers that stand out to you, Artie?
Well, you see Hawaii shooting 50% from the field and Fullerton at 49%. Three-point goals, 5 out of 15. Fullerton is right where they want to be. Hawaii only making 2. You see the free throws not really a factor. The rebound, 19 for Hawaii, 17 for Fullerton. It's much closer than I thought it would be, especially with the domination of Hawaii on the inside. The thing that concerns me as we look at all these stats, Fotu is 10 out of 12. The rest of the Rainbow Warriors, 6 out of 20 for this ball game. That is not good shooting from everyone else. Thank goodness Isaac Fotu is playing as well as he's playing, because he has really carried the Hawaii team thus far.
Already a career high. What does Hawaii have to do differently then offensively to make it a little bit more spread out and get more production from others aside from Isaac Fotu?
Well, I think offensively, both teams are playing extremely well. Maybe it's because they're going inside the Fotu, the 50% is so high. But for Cal State Fullerton, you know, 49% from the floor is excellent shooting, and I don't know if somebody's playing poor defense and somebody isn't playing any defense, but 50% shooting from the floor is a very good percentage for Division I basketball.
Well, Hawaii's shooting 50% from the floor. The other thing that you pointed out, Artie, you have a scoreless Vander Joaquin, although 7 rebounds. Interesting, though, to be able to see a guy in Vander Joaquin who came into this game averaging 15 points a game, leading the team in rebounds and blocks, to defer to a freshman, in this case Isaac Fotu, who's had the position down low and has made it work so far.
And I like the demeanor of Vander Joaquin. He is not pouting on the floor. He is playing hard. He is playing and doing the things that he needs to do. He should get his points this half.
Jace Tavita and Brandon Spearman getting the start in place of Monruth Clare and Hans Brereton here in this second half, and paying dividends immediately.
I saw them work on that play yesterday, and they used it, and it worked immediately. Terrific.
Deuce Johnson couldn't handle the hot pass, and Tavita will bring it across. Lob pass to Fotu, a little too strong. Goes off the backboard. Yeager coming the other way for Fullerton. Kicks it to Vaughn. 3 on the way, got it.
You make a mistake against Fullerton, and they will make you pay.
They get you in transition. Here's Stan Hardinger, too strong there. Joaquim can't follow it up. Does get another rebound, though, to his credit. Titans pushing, but a foul in the backcourt is going to go against Vander.
Well, Vander's lucky the foul was just called a personal foul, because it could have been an elbowing.
Didn't quite see it as the ball was ahead of him.
He threw the elbow
sure.
into Deuce. Watch this now. Watch as Vander comes down. Watch his right elbow. And then watch him a moment. Now see, that could have been called an elbow.
Good take by Seeley, too strong. Vander tips it to himself. Joaquim now with 9 boards. Fotu, that one again. Lobbed up by Tavita, a little too strong, goes off the backboard and out of bounds.
You know what? People are concerned. That was not a bad pass. Fotu should have been able to catch that and finish that. Christian Stanhardinger had the guy screened out. Watch this now. Watch it on the replay. This is not a bad pass. You go up there and catch that. Catch it. Maybe a little hard.
Yeah, maybe could have taken a little something off of it. But a good look.
Yeah.
Certainly the cut was there. It's a matter of just delivering the basketball. Gib Arnold able to argue his point with the officiating crew, and he actually wins the debate. Last touch by Fullerton. So Hawaii maintains possession. Vander, good kick to Spearman. Wide open 3, can't hit. And Fotu is fouled on the board by DJ Seeley. For Seeley, that is foul number 3. He's the leading scorer so far for Fullerton. He has 16. But now with his 3rd personal foul, something to consider for the Fullerton coaching staff.
Yeah, they'll go smaller.
I don't know if that's possible. Here's a steal by Yeager. Another turnover for Hawaii. And Yeager finishes easily.
You know, that's a mark right there. You know, you never throw a bounce pass to a guy in a fast break. Always throw it to him, because he has to make 2 catches. That's very difficult to do, and he made a great play right there.
13 turnovers now for Hawaii compared to 9 for the Titans. Hawaii is averaging just under 16 turnovers a game.
Good kick out that time, Vander.
Tavita looking in low, nothing doing. Here's Spearman. Joaquim quickly double teamed. We mentioned that in the open, and it's poked away by Harris. Yeager in a foot race with Spearman, can't finish. Joaquim with his 10th board. Stolen away by Yeager. Vaughn for 3. Tipped in by Harris. Wow, the 6'1" sophomore from Richmond, California got up off the ground.
Can they jump?
Nice play. Nice play.
You think?
That's the scouting report on Alex Harris. Interim head coach Andy Newman says he's fast, he can shoot, and he can jump out the gym. We saw it right there. Isaac Fotu continues his scoring tear. He now has 22. It was a 7-0 run for Fullerton. That ended it. Yeager, deep corner, hits the 3. They come at you from all angles.
The Warriors have to find the men on the floor. Understand, they're not going inside, so everybody's got to play outside in.
So it's officially a 10-2 run here. over the last couple of minutes. Fotu again gets loose, can't hit it, but he'll go to the free throw line. Stan Hardinger found him this time. Fotu active down low. No Fullerton player can match up size-wise with him, and he's had a field day.
Well, I think that the UH turnovers are keeping Fullerton in the game. I mean, they're giving up way too many easy baskets, and those turnovers are just killing them. It's not like a turnover that doesn't score. It's a turnover that does score, and I don't know how many points they got off of turnovers, but it's definitely hurting University of Hawaii.
Points off turnovers, they had 12 at the half. I don't know right now, the second half, points off turnovers, they have 19. Okay, now, the other thing that they're doing very well, they've knocked down 7 3-point shots. You see the foul here on Fotu. 2 or 3 guys got him.
Yeah, it depends who they call there. Looked like Yeager caught him on the way up, but Deuce Johnson also in the area. That's what the pause in the action is for, the officiating crew actually going across the way to the official scorers table to take a look at the monitor to see who exactly picked up that foul.
Well, Kanoa, you were on the mainland doing the Big West game for ESPN. What is your comment on the 4 teams that you've watched so far?
Well, had Fullerton versus UCSB, and I think the Big West Conference, as has been the tradition over the last few years, it's true to the style of basketball. Very guard-oriented, very up and down, a lot of outside shot attempts, a lot of made shot attempts in the case of a team like Cal State Fullerton. And so Hawaii, the only non-California team in the league this year, is also a team that differs from the rest of the conference greatly because its emphasis is certainly down low. Its strength is among the big 3 in Fotu, Stan Hardinger, and Joaquim, as opposed to what the rest of the conference looks like, where they're more outside in.
Yeah, well, I think that was said last week.
Joaquim will take a seat as the foul was called against Sammy Yeager, his 3rd. Rositas on the floor now. Stan Hardinger with the offensive board. Sends it cross court to Claire. Fotu. Oh, yeah! Nice move by Stan Hardinger. Wow.
Sweet move by Christian Stan Hardinger. Hawaii needed that.
Now that's a good example of how size hurts. As soon as he made his pivot, he's so much bigger and stronger. He just really hurt him.
Kwame Vaughn quickly quiets the Stan Sheriff Center crowd as he scores at the other end.
All right, go to a zone immediately. So let's see what this does.
Claire almost turns it over. Spearman able to hang on to it. Stan Hardinger from the elbow. That's his 3rd bucket of the game. He now has 6. And Vaughn able to get to the rim. Deuce Johnson with a couple of tips.
It went right by the guard. That was unforgivable.
Johnson now with 6 points and 4 rebounds. He averages 6 points and just under 3 boards a game. Fullerton up 5. Fotu in low again. So good. Such a soft touch.
You know, my question is, why don't you just milk that until there's nothing left?
Sealy is fouled on the drive. 15-27 left to go in this game. Isaac Fotu, 25 points. how it works, presented by Central Pacific Bank. Artie?
Yeah, you see that Hawaii runs a nice backdoor play here now. Jace Tavita goes over Brandon Spearman, takes a hard jab, then goes backdoor, gets the assist from Tavita, and makes the easy lay-in. And the nice part about that is you watch him with that real exaggerated move and then cuts backdoor. They did that an awful lot early in the season. It's nice to see those two back out there making it happen again.
Well, at this point of the game, they're both shooting 51% from the floor. However, Fullerton is shooting 41% from the three, which is outstanding.
That's what they come in the ball game shooting.
Yeah, very outstanding.
Yeah, Fullerton from threes, they average 41%, and they're right on their average.
Titans control out of the timeout. It's Jaeger off of the inbound. Working against Stan Hardinger. They'll reset it.
Good defense by Stan Hardinger.
Story of the game offensively for Hawaii so far. Career high 25 points for Isaac Fotu. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Kwame Vaughn, the fadeaway not there. Joaquin with another board.
I really like what Vander Joaquin has done in this ball game. Especially without scoring, he is still playing hard.
Gets the position there. Can't get his first bucket of the game, however. Jaeger, how about the crossover? Drops it off. Johnson can't hit the reverse. Non-Roop player back on the floor. Also Brandon Joato. It's Stan Hardinger who knocks over Jared Brandon. A blocking foul is called. Stan Hardinger will go to the line for an old-fashioned three-point attempt.
Let's take a look at this again. Stan Hardinger goes down and... What do you think, Coach?
I think he was moving, and that was a good call.
Yeah?
Yep.
You can, this year, move laterally to take an offensive foul. You have to establish position, but you can technically still be moving. But that was a close one.
Yeah, but I think his shoulder's got to be in front of him on that call when you move.
Missed by Stan Hardinger. Hawaii still trailing by a point. Cal State Fullerton leads the Rainbow Warriors in points off turnovers, 19-8. Another area Hawaii has excelled in, out-rebounding its opponent. Hawaii tops among Big West Conference teams as Deuce Johnson banks it in.
And Deuce banked it in from 4 or 6 feet. Vander grabbed his head like, I can't believe he shot a banker.
But Hawaii out-rebounding its opponents by just under 9 rebounds a game. That's tops in the Big West, 17th in the nation. But right now the rebounding number is very close, 25-23 in favor of Hawaii. And Joaquin gets bumped.
I like the fact that Joato saw that Vander Joaquin was down low and tried to get him the basketball. If you're a Hawaii fan, you like seeing Vander down in that area.
Excuse me, Artie. The difference between Vander and Fotu is that Fotu establishes his position on the low box.
Yeah, deep.
And Vander does not.
Vander, though, gets his first points of the game on the tip-in following the Fotu miss. Quickly the other way, though, Alex Harris to Brandon Jared. And Jared Brandon somehow gets the bucket to go.
Whew.
That was a very creative shot. That's
Jared
all I
Brandon, now, Jared Brandon is their other post guy when they need one, huh?
Yeah, Deuce Johnson went to the bench. Jared Brandon, the 6'4" freshman, the de facto big, is able to complete the three-point play. That was awesome.
That was a sweet play.
And it's Fullerton by 4. And a foul. They're going to get Vaughn on this one.
You can't foul Vander 20 feet from the basket. I mean, that's just not an intelligent play.
What they're trying to do, Coach, is they're trying to force him to turn it over, and he almost traveled. But you can't reach on him. Just put the arms up. Oh,
there's a steal. Harris picking pockets, leaves it for Vaughn.
That's 8 points off of that particular turnover. That's still a point.
Somebody better come back and help him here.
Player gets it across. And that time, the reach-in foul called against Alex Harris.
Let's watch this pick again. This is a great defensive play there. And then good assist on that play.
15 turnovers now for Hawaii, and that pickpocket maneuver out near midcourt has happened a few times tonight. Tavita back on the floor in place of Claire. Joato looking in the post, picks up the dribble, gotta let it go. Stan Hardinger on the drive. Leans in and hits, nicely done. 10 points now for Christian Stan Hardinger. Wide open from the right corner, Harris can't hit. And knocked out of bounds, last touched by Joaquin. Looked like Brandon actually reached over and intentionally deflected it off of Vander and out of bounds.
Well, one of the things that has to happen as we look at this replay. Yeah, it's a good call. It's off of Vander's hand.
That was a good call.
Jaeger, quick three.
That was a good shot.
You can't stay there and watch the guys shoot the ball. You better get a hand up at least.
8th three-pointer of this game for Fullerton. They're shooting 42% from out there.
Well, they're going to call a 5.
Tavita leaves it for Joaquin. And Hawaii just kind of scrambling on this possession.
The defense is dictating the offense.
Joaquin gets the post.
Vander. That's probably the easiest shot he's had tonight. And maybe one of the few that he's had today.
Well, he only has 4 points. Hawaii trailing by a handful and a foul on the dribble. 15 turnovers for Hawaii, but Vander Joaquin now starting to wake up offensively. Take a look at the Mid-Pack Petroleum leaderboard. Big West double-double performances. Christian Stan Hardinger right there near the top. Alan Williams of UC Santa Barbara got his 6th double-double over the weekend against these Cal State Fullerton Titans. But Joaquin also in the picture. So 2 Hawaii bigs in the top 5 in double-doubles this season.
42.
Fullerton to inbound. Seeley, the fadeaway shot, and he kisses it off the glass.
Nice shot, really nice shot.
Seemed to have some space to maneuver down there near the post.
Well, I think he pushed off a little bit. They didn't call it.
Man, it's a good move. You can go and kiss it off the glass.
Don't get called. It's a good, excellent move. And they get another steal.
They are anticipating those passes. Vaughn on the breakout, throws it down and gets fouled.
They're looking for an intentional over there at that bench.
Well, the thing is, the play was made as we watch this again. When the steal occurs now, the play is made 1 dribble, 2 dribble, and then pass. Most guys would have dribbled 1 or 2 times more. Instead, he saw the play, gave it up, and it was an easy dunk and one.
And he's a freshman, too. That was an outstanding pass.
So here goes Kwame Vaughn to the free throw line. Has more attempts than anybody else on the team. And he completes the three-point play. 10-point advantage for Cal State Fullerton.
That's the biggest
That's
lead.
the biggest of the game.
Yeah.
24 points off of 16 Hawaii turnovers. 11 of those turnovers have been steals. And a bad pass there. Stan Hardinger and Tavita weren't on the same page, but Spearman able to keep that play alive. This is a concerned crowd at the Stan Sheriff Center, guys.
It's a concerned Hawaii bench, as they should be.
Nice pick and roll, but Brandon bothered a little too much by Joaquin. Isaac Fotu, meanwhile, continues to rest on the sideline with 25 points. Joato dribbles to the baseline. It gets deflected to Joaquin. Sometimes it's better to be lucky.
Great assist, Christian.
Joaquin and the Bows will take it, though. He now has 6 points to go along with 12 rebounds. Sealy misses from 3, and a whistle on the rebound will go against Hawaii.
Yeah, Christian will get a credit for the assist, but it's actually somebody from Fullerton. Looks like it deflected that ball on the replay.
Spearman picking up that last foul, by the way, his third. Continues to be a 6-point game. Cal State Fullerton just 1-4 away from home this season. But playing well here tonight on the road at the Stan Sheriff Center. Harris misses the lane. Hawaii with a chance to run, but they'll slow it up. Joato gets picked. Another steal. Vaughn with the slam off of the 12th steal by Cal State Fullerton. Some sticky fingers on the side of the Titans as Spearman gets fouled on the drive. You guys seem speechless here.
I'm just kind of in shock at the number of picks that have occurred in this ballgame.
Well, Monroe Claire comes back onto the floor. Hans Brereton makes his way back out there, and Isaac Fotu.
Hans should be pretty fresh.
Sammy Yeager picking up his 4th foul on that last sequence. He stays out on the court.
It seems to me the 3 guards for Fullerton are doing an outstanding job defensively and shooting-wise. They have a number of steals, and they're shooting the ball excellent from the 3-point line, and of course that's their strength.
Here's Sealy. Yeah, Hawaii has its big 3, which are the big men. Sealy fadeaway shot, no good.
Sealy, you are not Dirk Nowitzki.
Fullerton has the big 3, which are guards. As Brereton gets blocked by one of them, it was Sammy Yeager, and the big 3 for Fullerton. Vaughn, Sealy, and Yeager, 19 points, 18 points, 15 points, respectively. Very near their averages.
Isn't that their averages?
Yeah, in fact, spot on, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. You see the block there out of bounds, and Brereton will get another chance at it.
Brereton slicing down the lane. Misses a couple of times, but Fotu there to do it again.
It's his neighborhood tonight, that's for sure.
If you don't know, now you know. Isaac Fotu
can play.
He's for real.
Yep, can flat out play.
Deflected away by Spearman. Brandon goes up and gets it. Can't finish. Ball still loose. Fotu comes out of there with it. Fotu in the lane, fouled on the arm. Even when Deuce Johnson is out there, the lone big man on the active roster for Fullerton, he's had a hard time handling Isaac Fotu, who now has 27 points and 7 rebounds.
Yeah, and Fotu is sucking a little wind right now. He looks like he's gassed pretty well.
And it's the 4th personal foul on DJ Sealy, so that's now Yeager and Sealy, 2 of the top 3 scorers on this Fullerton squad, each with 4 fouls as Fotu finds the Aloha spirit on that free throw attempt.
Fotu's hurt. He's struggling.
Yeah, he's struggling.
I don't know if he has cramps. I don't know if he's not feeling well, but it doesn't matter. He can stay sick.
Well, he's just tired.
The way he's playing. No, I saw him giving some peels and stuff during the timeout.
Yeah, he was during the last timeout away from the huddle.
Yeah.
Out near the water jug, so he might be struggling a bit, but they can't afford to take him off the floor now. Stan Sheriff Center crowd trying to urge this team on. Nice
as soon as they saw the
low.
switch with Manru Claire, they immediately went inside. Very smart play by Sealy.
Deuce Johnson finishing it off the feed from Sealy. The lead is back to 6. Brereton. Tavito try a 3. A game that has featured 5 lead changes and 5 ties. But over the last stretch, it's been Fullerton in front. Deuce Johnson, good power dribble. He maneuvered around Fotu that time.
Right around. They're excellent offensive play.
They utilize what they have very, very well.
Spearman, strong drive. He's got 15, guys.
And Hawaii's well within distance now. 7 minutes to go in this ballgame. There's still a lot of time.
But you get the feeling that Hawaii is just trying to keep up with Fullerton offensively. Here's Claire, stopping and popping for 3. That would have brought this house down, would have cut the lead to 3. Instead, Fullerton remains up 6.
And you can't give up a lay-in like that either, buddy.
Well, you know, if it went in, it was a great play. As he missed it, Moonrook missed it. It was not a very good play. It was a very bad play, as a matter of fact. Because the lead went from 6 to 8, and then took a little deflation out of UH.
Look of concern on the face of Gib Arnold. Hawaii trailing by 8. A look at the Pictures Plus fantastic frame. The fans that made their way out to the Stan Sheriff Center tonight. But they have been nervous here through the majority of this second half. This was a game that was tied at 40 at the break. A monster performance by Isaac Fotu.
Well, the difference in the ball game as we look at Deuce Johnson. Deuce Johnson from Fullerton working on the inside with a bank shot, and Vander's going, oh my God, he banked it. And then the big fella gets it down low, uses that left hand. Once again, goes to the left side, strong. He's been very effective for the Titans, and he's their only big.
Trying to hang big down low against Hawaii, but as mentioned, Fotu, I mean, this is one of the games that he'll remember for the rest of his collegiate career. 29.7 rebounds. But Hawaii having trouble protecting this house because it's been having trouble protecting the basketball. 13 steals for Fullerton.
That's just incredible. They came in the game averaging 8.
Tavita dared to shoot.
Well, the shot clock is running down.
Wow. It goes out of bounds. It'll stay here with Hawaii.
Yeah, I think Alex Harris just, he had a flat. Sorry, a blowout. They're taking him out to pump it up.
Spearman gets it off the inbound. Fullerton staying in that zone. What do you think about the way this zone has impacted Hawaii's offense? As Fotu that time couldn't handle the pass.
Well, the turnovers are coming from somewhere, so obviously the zone is definitely affecting UH. They're not shooting very well from the three-point line at all.
Well,
and I think it's been very successful. Now Hawaii's in a 3-2, and we'll see what happens with their zone.
Well, when Fullerton is not in the zone, their man-to-man defense has been pretty effective. So their switching of defenses has been effective both ways.
Now taking a little more time off of the clock. Under 10 on the shot clock. Deep three, Vaughn rattles it home. That was big.
Now, they take time off the clock, like you said, Kanoa, and then they come down and knock down a three.
11-point lead for the Titans. That's the biggest of the game. Again, that size for Hawaii, though, keeping them in it. Stan Hardinger with the putback that time. But it's been just a struggle for Hawaii, not only handling the pressure, but it appears to be in the execution of the offense in the half court. We'll be back.
OC Sports, presented on Oceanic Time Warner Cable, is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii and Kaiser Permanente.
Back here at the Stan Sheriff Center, it's going to be an uphill battle for the Rainbow Warriors for the rest of this game. 5:07 to go. They trail Fullerton by 9.
We're almost in prime time, and this is, can you close out the game on the road if you're Fullerton? Does Hawaii have enough left in its tank to make a run here?
Yeager, hard drive. Tried to leave it for Deuce Johnson, too hot to handle. It belongs to Hawaii. Fotu, Stan Hardinger, Garrett Jefferson, Hans Brereton, and Brandon Jawato on the floor currently for the Rainbow Warriors.
And they come out of the zone and went to a man.
Here's Brereton. May have gotten away with a walk there, but it hits the floor.
That walk gave him balance. He got the nice shot off.
It's Vaughn, Seeley, Yeager, Deuce Johnson, and Jared Brandon on the floor for Fullerton. There's a steal by Jefferson. Jawato chases it down. Jawato open for 3. They need it. They got it. It's back down to 4. First three-pointer of this game for Brandon Jawato. This was kind of a crazy sequence. The poke away by Jefferson, and then it was just a mad scramble.
good to see Hans Berenson deliver the ball, and Joatto nails a big-time three. Hawaii desperately needed that three.
Joatto, who was 39% from the land of three coming into this game, able to knock that one down, has scored double digits in 3 of his last 5 outings. Again, he has 7. Now 2 of 4 from the field. But most importantly, Hawaii back to within 4 and some energy again injected into the fans here at the Stanley.
Yeah, the home court can become a factor now because of the energy and the way the Rainbows have played the last couple of possessions.
Well, a 9-point lead went down to 4 in about 10 seconds.
And there's still plenty of time in this game.
Foul called away from the ball on Garrett Jefferson. His palms are pointed upward. Give Arnold looks befuddled at the whistle.
Yeah. Well, Jefferson was told, I'm sure, by Coach Arnold, don't let him touch the ball. And he was trying to keep Kwame Vaughn from getting the ball.
There is Kwame Vaughn at the free throw line. 24-point night. Rims out on him. So no harm done on that foul, as that was the 7th Hawaii team foul. Both teams now in the bonus the rest of the way. A steal by Vaughn. Under 4 minutes to go. Someone got to step up and pick up Kwame Vaughn. It's Joatto. Hawaii into a man-to-man defense. Sealy, the hesitation. The Titans taking some air out of the ball.
They're athletic enough to be able to take the air out.
Sealy misses with 5 on the shot clock. Hawaii can't corral it. Deuce Johnson finishes the lay-in.
What a big putback by the big fella. He says, I'm only one big, but I can get it done.
Well, he was closer to the floor. He doesn't jump that well, so he had a chance of getting that ball.
The Deuce got loose for Fullerton. They lead by 6 with 3:06 left to go.
This is a big-time miss right here. Fotu's battling, Stan Hardinger is battling, but Deuce Johnson gets it with that left hand and that big body.
You have to give Cal State Fullerton credit for the way they battled on the boards against the much oversized Hawaii team.
Absolutely. Hawaii has not utilized its strength on the inside. Take Isaac Fotu's performance out of this game, and Hawaii has not been dominant on the inside. Vander Joaquin has been effective on the defensive end and has gotten quite a few rebounds, but there hasn't been the domination you would expect to see from a Hawaii team against a much smaller Fullerton.
Well, you have to give Fullerton coaching staff credit. It's great strategy they're using against you.
Well, they're doing what they have to do.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah,
they do exactly what they have to do.
Yeah, they open the floor up, and then defensively they're getting after Hawaii.
Claire gets it to Joatto. 3 freshmen on the floor here for Hawaii in crunch time. It's Joatto fouled on the drive. 2:56 to go. Hawaii trying to claw its way back against the Titans. the Stan Sheriff Center. Kanoa Leahy along with Tony Solito and Artie Wilson. Under 3 minutes to go in this Big West Conference showdown. Hawaii in its first year in the Big West, trying to hang in there, come from behind against one of the perennial contenders in the conference, Cal State Fullerton. Brandon Joato at the free throw line. Misses.
Big free throws here. Got to get these, knock these down.
Hawaii was 9 of 14 prior to that. Jared Brandon picking up his 4th personal foul. By the way, there was a switching of the foul totals. DJ Seeley, who we had reported had 4 fouls, that foul was changed to Jared Brandon. So Seeley still with 3 fouls as Joato goes 0 for 2 on that trip out of the timeout.
Well, we're getting right now close to 2 minutes, easily the most important part of a basketball game.
Well, they're opening the floor up, and if you have athletes like they have who can get things off the dribble, it's very easy to do this.
Here's Harris. Couldn't finish. Deuce's tip also off the mark. Here's Stan Hardinger. Right corner, Joato for 3.
Boy, big time shot. Joato missed the 2 free throws and then hits a deep 3 out of the corner.
He's got 10. Hawaii down 3. It's coming down to the wire. Yeager against Spearman, almost mishandled that one. And a timeout called by the Fullerton bench. Well, it hasn't been pretty at times. It's been downright messy, in fact, through stretches. But Hawaii has been able to hang in there, and they're very much contending for the victory here tonight with 2:01
no
on the clock.
question about it. As I said, Joato hits a tougher shot here. Now that 3 in the corner, that's a big-time 3 under pressure in the flow of the ball game after going to the free throw line and clanking 2 free throws. Hard to understand, but he is a young player. But tremendous 3-point shot. As you see, Hawaii now 4 out of 14. And Cal State
has 2 of those.
Yeah. Joato, 6'4", 200-pound redshirt freshman from El Segundo, California. Your thoughts on the upside of this young Rainbow Warrior?
Well, the word you said that immediately hits me is he was a redshirt. I believe, I don't care what level you're playing at, every freshman should redshirt. I am adamant about that fact. It's very difficult to play Division I, Division II, Division III basketball when you come right out of high school. You have to really be a star.
This is a guy, Artie, who played sparingly to say the most prior to the Diamond Head Classic.
Yeah.
Attempted only 6 shots prior to that tournament, but since then, he's factored in heavily for Hawaii over the course of the last 6 or so ball games.
Well, what he can do is shoot the basketball. Okay, he can shoot it now. And Hawaii well in this ballgame. 2 minutes is so much time to play, and it's a 3-point game. The key for the Rainbow Warriors, I was going to say, is to play smart and play hard and not commit fouls.
They send Kwame Vaughn to the free throw line as they call Spearman for that one. That's his 4th. The officials will actually have a discussion. I think that may have been Stan Hardinger committing that foul. We'll see if they change it. But Vaughn goes to the free throw line where he's 2 of 4 tonight. They will keep it. No, they will change it. They will change it to Christian Stan Hardinger. So Spearman will have 3 fouls. Stan Hardinger will have 1. And Kwame Vaughn, who's shooting 87% from the free throw line, will go to the line.
Well, Manrup and Hans coming in is an offensive move. They'll come out when defense happens.
Vaughn hits. He's a guy who was 12 for 12 from the charity line in the win over UC Santa Barbara this past weekend. Has missed a couple in this game. So he's on the money on that trip. And here is Manrup Claire. Has had his difficulties bringing the ball up tonight. Picks up the dribble.
Oh, yeah. Concern you, huh, Coach?
There's Joato. The lob pass to Stan Hardinger, a little too hot, tipped out of bounds. It belongs to Fullerton. But there will be another discussion between the men in stripes, and they will reverse the call. I think they may have had it right the first time.
Yep.
Either way, Hawaii benefits And the Rainbow Warriors will inbound from the baseline. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Chihuahua with it out front. Fullerton in that zone. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Brereton to Claire for three. Needs it, gets it.
Big time shot by Claire.
How about these young guns stepping it up here when they need it the most?
Well, the one thing they can do is shoot the ball. Okay? Claire can shoot it. Jawado can shoot it. Both of them shoot the basketball, and they're so young, they don't know the difference. All right, they knock down shots. The thing that they struggle with a little bit is handling the basketball, but shooting it, they can do that.
And again, they will sub offense for defense. So Jefferson and Spearman come back into the game. They will replace Claire and Brereton. 1:27 to go. Hawaii, which was down double digits about 4 minutes ago on the game clock, back to within a deuce.
And who would have thought Hawaii would be in this position and having Vander Joaquin, a non-factor, coming down the stretch.
Joaquin with 6 points, 12 rebounds. Hawaii has turned it over 20 times. Fullerton has stolen the ball 14 times. And yet here we are with a 2-point game. Kwame Vaughn, he's got 26. Step back, leaves it for Johnson, misses the layup, but he's fouled.
Great foul by Jefferson, but a tough take to the basket by Johnson. That was a big man take right there. He went up strong, and Jefferson hammered him. These are big-time free throws here now.
A couple of offensive players coming back in for Hawaii as we take a look at that last take to the rim by Johnson. So here is Deuce Johnson, a 78% free throw shooter. Misses. Brereton and Claire in. Jefferson and Spearman out. As Deuce Johnson stares down a vital free throw attempt. Missed again. Stan Hardinger controls.
Don't leave him alone.
Under a minute to go. Claire rubs off the screen. Chihuahua off the 4-2 pick. Claire to Stan Hardinger for three and the lead.
Big time shot by Kristen Stan Hardinger.
A 16-4 Rainbow run. They're up one. And how about the three-pointers down the stretch, bringing Hawaii back in front.
Let's watch it. There's Jawado with one. There's him with another one from the corner. Big time shot. Then Manu Claire comes from the other corner. And last but not least, to get the lead, Christian Stan Hardinger.
Hawaii now 6 of 16 from outside the property line. And you saw, they had only hit 2 prior to that stretch right there where they made 4, 3 of them by freshmen.
Obviously, that was some clutch free throw shooting from the three-point line, especially at the end of the game when you almost have to make threes. And you know, it's a very difficult shot, so you've got to give them really a lot of credit for hitting that shot. They're only kids, and it's just a terrific offensive move by Hawaii.
Let us not forget also that Deuce Johnson went to the line for Fullerton and claimed. He missed 2.
Fullerton, which leads the conference in free throw percentage.
Yeah. But this game is far from being over right now.
Well, they're going to spread the floor and take it to the hole, I can tell you that.
Spearman and Jefferson back on. For defensive purposes, 37.9. They will actually add 0.3 of a second. So it'll be 38.2 on the game clock. 3 seconds more than the shot clock. Here we go. A crucial Big West win on the line. Vaughn misses the lay-in. Jefferson ahead to Joato. To the rim, blocked by Yeager, but fouled. And for Yeager, that will be his 5th. He is fouled.
Whoa. Was there a foul?
No foul on that shot. That I can tell you.
Well, I can tell you this. The official called it. This was Kwame Vaughn at the other end. What do you think of the defense here?
Oh, no, I think that's a foul. You know, the guy's left arm, I mean, Jefferson raped the left arm. But you know what? If you're the University of Hawaii, you like both sequences. And you've got the ball, you go into the free throw line to shoot.
Well, you know, everything happens good at home. You know, that's why people like to play at home. That's why 65% of every team's wins come at home. That's a guaranteed percentage.
This will be a huge win if Hawaii can get this because of how they played tonight.
They host UC Riverside on Saturday. If Hawaii is able to win tonight, win that game, they will be 3-0 to start league play, and they will go on the road to play a very tough Irvine team, followed by a very tough Long Beach State team. And Brandon Joato, talk about clutch, hitting 2 3-pointers to bring Hawaii back. And now here at the free throw line, can he add another free throw? Misses the free throw. And then commits the foul in the backcourt.
Somebody says, Joato, step out to the three-point area when you're shooting your free throws. It's okay.
By the way, that's the 10th team foul, guys. That means 2 shots for DJ Seeley.
Why not go into overtime? What do you think?
Well, that was a freshman maneuver. I don't want to say mistake. It was a freshman maneuver.
Now,
so here's DJ Seeley. First free throw attempt of the game. And he misses. Fullerton, a team shooting 79% from the free throw line, is at 50% in this game.
And the amazing thing is, these are free throws down the stretch when it matters most. Now, if you're Fullerton, you're looking at who Hawaii has on the floor, and you're recognizing who you want to foul right away.
Cal State Fullerton is 6-0 when they've scored more than 80 points this season. Hawaii trying to change that trend. Seeley gets the second one. It'll come down to clutch free throws here for Hawaii. And Claire is fouled. He will go to the line. Claire will go to the free throw line for the first time tonight. Guys, he has attempted 4 free throws this season. He's made 1 of them.
Well, he's known to be, and he's been called, the best shooter on the team.
Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada native. Attended Huntington Prep, a very reputable prep school in West Virginia for a year before coming to the University of Hawaii. And he is true on his first try.
That was a very confident shot as well.
Averaging over 31 minutes per game over the last 3 contests. As Tavita comes back onto the floor for Hawaii. Hawaii trying to get lined up here on the lane. But Manaru Claire, they have started to rely on him more and more at that point guard position here as the season has gone on. And he gets the second free throw. He'll come out, Jefferson will come in, and Hawaii will try to protect this 3-point lead over the last 17.3.
Hawaii's got to play good defense without committing a foul in the 3-point area as well.
And a timeout is called by the Fullerton bench. That will be their final timeout. Hawaii also without a timeout. So it comes down to this, guys. What do you expect here? No Sammy Yeager on the floor for Fullerton. He's fouled out. What do you anticipate here from the Titans?
Okay, here's the deal. I'm asking you, Coach, do you commit the foul now? Give them the 2 and not take a chance of them knocking down the 3.
I think that's a great question, and I think like all 3 of us differ on a lot of things. I think that coaches differ on that.
Okay.
Some coaches will go
What
after.
would you do?
What would I do? I'd shoot the 3 to tie the game.
Well, I mean, no, what would you do defensively? Would you commit a foul, or would you just play strong defense and say if it goes into overtime, we're at home, we should still win?
Well, personally, I'd commit a foul.
What would you do, Kennard?
I'll go with Coach. I'll defer to Coach on this.
Nah, see, and me, I would basically say get on it, D up, because we're at home. If we end up in overtime, we still are gonna win this sucker.
You know what? I like that one too.
Yeah.
We'll see which one Hawaii decides to go with. The inbound goes to Harris. 10 seconds on the clock. Hands it off to Seeley. Gets loose for 3. And hits off the bounce. Inbound goes to Jefferson. 2 seconds. 1 second. This will be for the win. Comeback, an amazing finish, an amazing victory for the Rainbow Warriors.
If someone had said that the play would come down to Garrett Jefferson getting the ball, going the length of the floor, and then throwing up a floater, a Tony Parker floater, to win the ball game as the clock goes off.
How about this? Isaac Fotu goes for a career-high 29. Garrett Jefferson wins the game with his first bucket of the contest.
That's just unbelievable. And it's beautiful to be at home, huh?
And Gib Arnold and his Rainbow Warriors, I guess you could say, escape with a win.
Hey, a win is a win is a win.
But they trailed by 11, and they rallied against a perennial contender in the Big West, and Hawaii is now 2-0 in the league. We'll be back with more from the Stan Sheriff Center after this. Well, this one deserves a hana ho. The way this game finished, Cal State Fullerton trailing by 3. DJ Seeley gets his hands on it. The pull-up 3. How about the bounce right here? Hawaii, without a timeout, has to inbound it. And of all people, it's Garrett Jefferson scoreless tonight until this shot at the buzzer.
A little Euro move, a little Manu Ginobili step, and then he hit Tony Parker floater.
Listen, that's great awareness on him, on his part. Terrific awareness, terrific to get the shot off. Because I think he got it off with like 0.2 of a second. It's an absolutely terrific play.
Bank of Hawaii presents the players of the game. Kwame Vaughn goes for 26, 5 assists, 4 steals. Isaac Fotu, who had 20 by halftime, finishes with a career-high 29 points and 9 rebounds, was 13 of 16 from the field. Garrett Jefferson, remember, he hit the clutch shot against Pacific on this floor last year with 3.1 seconds left. It was his first career field goal, so that was essentially a game winner as well. So I guess Garrett is Mr. Clutch. Is that what it is?
Let me say this. Let me just say this. The bigs beat the guards again. Barely. Just like they did the last game. Barely.
How did this game change so drastically in favor of Hawaii? They were down 11, about 6 or so minutes left in that second half. They were able to start hitting threes, but what was it? What won this game for Hawaii?
I think Hawaii made some 50-50 plays. They got some energy plays, and then it got the crowd into it. And you have to say that Hawaii elevated their game, and Fullerton, they shrunk.
Well,
and they missed some key free throws down the stretch.
Let me tell you, Fullerton played 6 players the whole game.
And they wore out.
6. And they got tired at the end. There's no question about it, because that rally by Hawaii was a great rally, and there was great three-point shooting, but Fullerton was tired.
15 points for Brandon Spearman, 15 points for Christian Stan Hardinger, but it was a couple of freshmen hitting big three-pointers. Brandon Joato had 2. Monarup Claire had 1 of them. They did not have the easiest time against the Fullerton pressure. That is certainly euphemistically put. But what about their ability to, when it was on the line, still dig in and hit those shots?
Well, that's huge. I mean, if you're a young guy and that's what you're known as, a shooter, you've got to do what you do. You're not the greatest ball handler in the world. You're not going to make the greatest decisions because you're young. But the one thing you know you can do is shoot the basketball. And both those guys stepped up tonight and hit key shots when Hawaii needed. And that's the difference.